The dark price of being good. What Machiavelli tried to warn you about. Goodness. A word that glows softly on the surface of human life. It feels noble, pure, safe. But beneath that glow, there's a shadow. Machiavelli saw it clearly centuries ago. He watched kings fall not because they were evil, but because they were too good. He said, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." But what he truly meant was darker. He meant that love fades when tested, but fear, even silent, hidden fear, survives longer. This is the shocking cost of goodness. Before we continue, pause for a second. Think about how many times your kindness was mistaken for weakness. How many times you stayed silent and it cost you everything. Here, we uncover the truth most people are too afraid to admit, because awareness is not cruelty, it's survival. So if you're ready to see what really hides beneath human nature, subscribe now and click that like button and step into the light with your eyes open. A truth so uncomfortable, most people spend their entire lives denying it. Because to be good in a world that rewards cunning is to live as prey among hunters. And no matter how sincere your heart is, it cannot negotiate with wolves. Tonight, we walk into the mind of Machiavelli, and we uncover the hidden truth that goodness, unguarded, is the most dangerous weakness a human can possess. Good people don't fall because they're wrong. They fall because they assume everyone else wants peace. They assume honesty will be mirrored, that fairness is natural, that love will protect them. But Machiavelli wrote something few ever quote. Men are ungrateful, fickle, deceitful, cowardly, and greedy. He didn't say it with hatred. He said it as observation. Cold, clear, mathematical. He spent his life surrounded by nobles who smiled in daylight and conspired in candlelight. He watched alliances built on kindness collapse in silence. He saw mercy weaponized by the ruthless. And he learned, in a world ruled by power, goodness is a silent invitation to be used. Because when people see light, they move toward it. But not all move to be warmed. Some move to steal its fire. That is the first law of reality. The world feeds on advantage, not intention. You think being good makes you loved. It does, for a moment, until your goodness becomes inconvenient. Then it becomes forgotten, or mocked, or betrayed. The invisible price of goodness is this: it teaches others how to treat you. Every time you say yes when your heart says no, you train the world to take more. Every time you forgive without consequence, you teach betrayal it can return safely. And every time you help without balance, you turn generosity into your own undoing. The shocking cost of goodness isn't that you lose people, it's that you lose yourself trying to keep them. Machiavelli never hated morality. He feared its blindness. He believed the moral man must study immorality, not to copy it, but to guard against it. So he designed 3 hidden laws, unspoken but woven through every page of the Prince. Law 1. Goodness must be strategic. Kindness without strategy is suicide. Help, but with eyes open. Give, but with boundaries. Love, but with awareness of motive. Because Machiavelli understood, not every hand that reaches for you deserves to be held. Mercy, when unmeasured, becomes permission. Law 2. Reputation is armor. He wrote, "A prince must appear merciful, faithful, humane, religious, upright." Appear. Not because hypocrisy is noble, but because perception protects. The world judges images, not souls. So protect your image like a fortress. Be good where eyes can see, and strategic where eyes cannot. Morality without presentation is powerless, and power without perception is temporary. He knew the game isn't who you are, it's what they believe you are. Law 3. Control the balance between fear and love. Love is chosen, fear is remembered. Machiavelli's truth was not cruelty, it was stability. He knew love can fade with distance, but fear lasts through absence. He warned, be gentle, but always capable of violence. Because peace without the threat of consequence is a fragile illusion. Inside every human, there's a wolf and a lamb. The lamb wants peace, comfort, acceptance. The wolf wants respect, survival, territory. Goodness, when uncontrolled, silences the wolf. But Machiavelli knew a lamb that kills its wolf will one day be eaten by another. He taught that true strength is balance, to be gentle without being weak, to be silent without being passive, to be kind without being naive. Because the world doesn't fear the lamb, it fears the one who knows when to become the wolf. Ask yourself this: why do people admire goodness but follow power? Because goodness comforts the soul, but power decides the future. Machiavelli understood that goodness is theater. Society rewards those who look moral, not those who are moral. He watched preachers condemn sin in public and commit it in private. He watched kings praise mercy, then order executions before breakfast. He realized morality isn't the foundation of power, it's the decoration. And most people would rather look good than do good. That's why genuine goodness terrifies them. It holds a mirror too clear. So they call it weakness, because admitting its power would expose their own cowardice. Goodness is beautiful in philosophy, but the world isn't philosophical. It's transactional. The world doesn't ask what you mean, it measures what you can do. And that's where good people fall, between intention and impact. They believe sincerity is enough. It isn't, because in Machiavelli's world, results rewrite morality. You can be right and still lose. You can be kind and still be replaced. You can be honest and still be punished. Goodness alone doesn't protect you. But here's where Machiavelli's wisdom evolves. He never said goodness must die. He said it must evolve. To survive, goodness must learn to carry a sword. Not to harm, but to remind the world it could. The good must study control,
Study silence. Study timing. Because timing is morality's shadow twin. Do good too early, you'll be exploited. Do good too late, you'll be irrelevant. Do it strategically, you'll be untouchable. Machiavelli's hidden truth was not darkness, it was balance. He believed virtue without wisdom collapses, and wisdom without virtue corrupts. The true power lies between, where goodness becomes aware, where the heart learns politics. Compassion is not free. It drains energy, time, spirit. Machiavelli saw rulers destroyed by mercy. He saw friends turned enemies because compassion replaced caution. He would have told you, never apologize for protecting your limits, because compassion without restraint is a slow surrender, and every empire that falls first forgets how to say no. Look closer at your life. The war isn't out there, it's inside. The part of you that wants to stay kind is always in battle with the part that's tired of being used. Machiavelli called that tension necessity. He believed greatness is forged when morality learns realism. The cost of goodness is not just pain, it's awareness. Because once you see how the world truly works, you can never unsee it. You start noticing manipulation in compliments, greed behind generosity, control hiding in kindness. And it hurts because your innocence dies quietly. But that death births wisdom. Machiavelli didn't want people to become cold. He wanted them to become conscious. He believed every human must outgrow innocence to earn clarity.
Because innocence without awareness makes you predictable, and predictability is the death of power. When people can predict your kindness, they can plan their betrayals. When they can predict your forgiveness, they can schedule their apologies. When they can predict your patience, they can time their deceit. That's why Machiavelli advised, learn unpredictability. Let your mercy be measured. Let your boundaries shift. Keep them guessing, not because you're cruel, but because consistency is control for the cunning. Goodness is a double-edged sword. In your hands, it heals. In theirs, it enslaves. Machiavelli believed that power is not about domination, it's about awareness. Awareness of motive, of timing, of consequence. He didn't want saints, he wanted survivors. And survivors understand. Kindness must be earned, not assumed. Love must be chosen, not owed. Mercy must be limited, not endless. Because endless mercy creates endless manipulators. Ask anyone who's been betrayed, and they'll tell you the wound isn't what they did. It's that you never thought they could. Good people suffer not from loss, but from disbelief. They keep asking, why would they do that? I was good to them. And the answer is painful. Because goodness without leverage is invisible to the self-interested. They didn't betray you because you were bad. They betrayed you because they could. But there's a deeper revelation. You can't kill your goodness.
You can only mature it. Machiavelli's hidden truth was transformation, to move from blind virtue to strategic virtue, to help wisely, to love cautiously, to forgive slowly, to listen deeply, but believe evidence, not emotion, to remain kind in action, but steel in foundation. That's the balance. That's the art of surviving as a good soul in a ruthless system. Machiavelli once wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves, so one must be both. The lion is goodness, strength, honor, loyalty. The fox is awareness, calculation, cunning, timing. To live fully, you must master both, and in that mastery, you discover the quiet truth of power. Power doesn't always speak, it observes. Real power doesn't shout, it moves silently until it's too late to stop. That's what goodness must learn, how to exist without explanation, how to give without exposure, how to love without surrender. The final cost of goodness is solitude, because once you see how the world uses purity, you start walking differently. You speak less. You observe more. You forgive, but you don't return. And you start realizing most people don't want your heart. They want your light until it burns them. But that's okay, because every light that survives betrayal shines sharper. Machiavelli would say, "You don't lose when you protect yourself. You lose when you let guilt talk you out of it." So if you must be good on your terms, not theirs. Goodness must evolve. It must learn language. It must learn limits. Be kind, but unreadable. Be helpful, but strategic. Be honest, but selective. Because once you understand human nature, you stop expecting angels and start protecting your peace. And when you do, your goodness becomes unbreakable. Not naive, not blind, but luminous, controlled, respected. That's Machiavelli's hidden truth. Goodness without defense is self-destruction. Goodness with awareness is power. So, stay kind, but keep your sword close. Because in a world of smiling wolves, only the wise sheep survive.